Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tradition Kitchens. I am Julia. So excited to have you here with us. Ploy will be teaching our class this evening if you're on the East Coast, afternoon on the West Coast, morning for some of you who are joining internationally from Australia. Welcome to Tradition Kitchens. Desiree, thanks for getting us started. We are recording, everyone. We are so happy to have you all here and welcome you to introduce yourself in the chat. So Desiree is from Southern California. Mike is from Arlington, Virginia. We love welcoming people from all around the world to our classes. We also would love to see you. We know people are on video chat all day long. Thanks, Bulldog. I don't know your real name, but I love your name in Zoom for turning on your video. But please let us know that you're here. We like to gather as if we are all together in the same virtual kitchen. I see some cameras turning on. I've got you on gallery view, which is really fun. It's like the Brady Bunch. You can see everyone. So I'm going to take a look and spotlight a few folks and welcome them. Oh, wow. I'm taking a look at the chat. We've got people from all over. We've got Massachusetts, Minneapolis, upstate New York, Toronto. Hello, Midori from Japan. Welcome back. We've got Iowa, Philadelphia, Shira from London. I think you might be our first London joiner. So welcome. And Vicky, so specific. So thanks for being here from Central Oregon. We have a fun tradition at Tradition Kitchens of a kitchen cam where I invite someone to say hi, unmute, introduce yourself. So I'm going to spotlight Michael. So if you want to unmute and say hello, Michael Dresner from Marietta, Georgia, who used to come to classes when we were in person. Remember those days, Michael?
I do. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
Great to see you. Are you cooking along with us tonight?
I am. I have all my stuff measured out over here. I'm not sure if that showed up or not.
Yes.
Oh, you are ahead of the game. You make the pass already.
So yeah, I got the paste and everything. I didn't know how fast the class would move.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and being part of our community. It's so great to see you again and can't wait to see how your dish turns out. All right, I'm taking a look around at some other folks. Bulldog, Jane is your name. So Jane, if you want to unmute, I'm going to add you to the spotlight and please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from.
Oh, well, hi, I'm calling in from the Twin Cities. And so shout out to the other folks in Minneapolis tonight. We're all enjoying a really pretty snowfall. This is my first online class and I'm taking this virtually with a friend who's in Louisville. I don't know if she's on yet. Her name's Marlene. And we miss each other and thought this would be a really fun way to kind of see each other tonight and have an activity. So thank you for doing this. There she is.
Marlene is here. You're reunited virtually. That's awesome. Marlene, where are you located?
Hi, everyone. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, so a little bit further south than Jane.
Nice. I'm sorry. You just said that, Jane. I think I'm just doing too many things.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm excited. I'm excited to see everyone cooking and just to try a new recipe.
Totally. Oh, can't wait. Thank you.
Jane.
I love this. It's so great to have you all. Welcome, welcome. We're really thrilled. We've got 68 folks on the line. We sold out over capacity per usual when we have Ploy here because her classes are so great and her teaching and her story is amazing. So we're really thrilled. Zan, you all look very cozy in your kitchen. If you want to unmute, we'd love to meet you and introduce you to everybody. Welcome, welcome. Tell us where you're calling in from.
Hi, we're all in Minneapolis, excited to be in this class. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we have quite the Minneapolis crew. Do you know Jane also, or no? This is great. We love it. Fun times. Thanks for cooking along and joining us. Really happy to have you here. All right, I think we're going to do one or two more intros, seeing some more folks on video, which is awesome. Want to invite you all to join us. I saw somebody had introduced themselves that you're calling in from London. It might be very early for you, but if you wanted to say hello, we would love to meet you. Shira, Are you able to unmute your?
Probably 1 a.m.
Sorry, I am five hours ahead of you, so that's why I've not put my camera on, but now I am.
Oh, that is so kind of you. I'm so sorry. I hope we didn't ruin your.
I'm not cooking because Ploy has, I actually cook as well, but I met Ploy once. She did my class, and I thought I'd reciprocate, and that's why I'm logging in.
That's amazing. We love.
Thank you for joining.
Hi,
I feel
Ploy.
so honored when someone like wake up at 3 a.m. or midnight or 1 a.m. to take the class. So it's my honor.
Yeah,
Thank
and I always said that I wanted to learn. Well, I mean, I know a bit of Thai, but I think you're doing something northern this time. So, you know, and I'm always interested because I think Malaysia, I come from Malaysia, but I live in London. I'm quite used to Southern Thai, but not Northern. And yeah, so it's great to see you.
Great
Thanks.
to see you as well. Thank you for coming.
All right, thanks. Okay.
Thank you. So great to meet you. And if you ever want to return to teach with us, you are most welcome.
Yeah. Well, I'll get in touch with you if I do. Yes. Thank you so much, Julia.
Of course, of course. So I'm going to kick us off. We're about 7 minutes after the hour. We have 73 amazing attendees here. And just a quick word of welcome. I'm Julia, and along with my mom, we started Tradition Kitchens about 2.5 years ago. We used to be in person in Atlanta as a way to learn about other people and their stories through food. It actually started with our traditions. And then when we went online during the pandemic, we realized how many amazing traditions and cultures we could learn from. So it has been incredible. We're nearing 100 classes. I've got to tally it up. And we have people from all around the world who join us, and everything is volunteer. So we are grateful to you for being here with us, to our teachers for teaching and being part of our community. So we encourage you to ask questions and introduce yourself and get to know each other as if we are all hanging out in a kitchen together. If you feel comfortable, definitely turn on your video. It really makes for a meaningful experience when we can see one another. Keep your questions going in the chat. I'm gonna do my best to let Ploy teach us, but also to respect her time and not to delay us too much. So we might group some questions together. But if there are any great teachers and chefs on the line, which we know already that we have a few, please chime in. When it comes to measurements or suggestions or thoughts, we welcome everyone to contribute. And with that, I'm going to invite you to our selfie, which is our Zoom selfie, which is a quick picture of our time together. So I want to just invite you to turn on your video if you're able to. On the bottom left, gather around your camera. Zan and friends, if you can hear me, come closer. I'll call out a few names. Let's see, Emily, Dave, Bill, Kathy, great to see you. Parul, oh, Jess and Tate, I'm loving this. You guys, I'm on gallery view and it is super fun to see everyone's video flipping on. It's awesome. Thomas, great to see you back here. This is amazing. We have folks who've been here before, new people. Eugenia, I'm so happy to see you. All right, I'm going to count us down. Oh my God, I can't believe how many people are on video. This is like a record for us. I know people get tired being online all the time, but I really appreciate seeing so many faces. So Richard, come closer to your camera so we can, there we go. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to take one more just in case anyone closed their eyes. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Now definitely leave your video on if you could, because this is a highlight of our time together. We know everyone's in different places and spaces. This is one of my 25 kitchens that I have redecorated with during the pandemic. So I do not have a kitchen that looks like this, just my virtual background. So with that, I want to turn it over to our amazing teacher, Ploy. Just a reminder that we are recording. So there will be a wonderful version of this emailed to you, but we encourage you to stay around and enjoy the experience. So Ploy, I can't thank you enough for teaching. You have such an amazing skill set and story. So let us know what we need to learn from you tonight.
Thank you, Julia, and thank you all for coming. I saw Jessica as well, so nice to see you again. So if you have done a class with me before, please please feel free to type it in the chat. I just want to know if you have done a class with me or you are completely new. So if you are new, I hope that you are gonna come back. So my name is Ploy. I am working full-time for a food incubator kitchen in Boston. I work for part-time teaching cooking classes. I am originally from Thailand. I came to the US to do my master's degree in sustainability. I went to a culinary school as a hobby while I was working in Thailand. So once I came here, did master degree, and people actually asked me to teach them how to cook because they thought that, oh, you're from Thailand, you should know how to make pad Thai. So I thought that, oh, why not? So I applied for a part-time job teaching a cooking class, and then I have been teaching cooking classes since then. So now I'm teaching on my own. You can check ployskitchen.com. I also teach for adult education as well, including Cambridge Center for Adult Education, Arlington Community Adult Education, and also Needham Community Education. So if you love cooking, if you love cooking online, you please feel free to check out my website, ployskitchen.com. And if you are cooking along today, I would encourage you to post it on social media and tag Tradition Kitchens and also Ploy's Kitchen as well. As you know, I'm not a native speaker. If you don't understand my accent, please feel free to ask me to repeat, but I will repeat with the same accent. Please ask. So today we are making Thai curry with noodles, and then we are gonna make the tea. I know some of you already did the tea. Michael, you already ahead of the game, so you will just relax and watch. So the step that we are gonna make today is we are gonna prep the vegetables together, and then after that we are gonna make a paste, and then after we make a paste, we are gonna make the curry. After we make the curry, and while the curry is cooking, we are gonna make the tea. And if we have time, we're just gonna talk about the story of the dish while we are cooking along together, and then at the end we are gonna cook the noodles, and then we serve the dish. I saw some questions about the cashew. So if you are gonna use the cashew as the main protein, I would recommend you to blend it with the paste so that technically you will just get the protein out of that. So it would be you like the cashew is gonna give like you a creamier texture, but you are welcome to add vegetables as well. So if you have broccoli, if you have cauliflower, carrots or anything, to add it into the dish in addition to instead of the chicken, you are welcome to. And if you want the protein content, please feel free to just like blend the cashew nuts with the paste. So let's get started. So what we have here today is, so we are gonna start with the vegetables. So what we are gonna do is I'm gonna use half of the bell peppers, and we will need about half a cup of the shallot. So I already have the shallot peel. If you haven't peeled the shallot, you don't need to peel it right now because we are just gonna roughly chop them. And then after that, we are just gonna blend them together. So technically you don't, like that aren't a lot of knife skills today. And then somehow I just have like minced garlic, but if you have cloves of garlic, you don't need to do any knife skill at all. You just peel the garlic, and then we're just gonna blend it in the blender. And then we will need ginger. So this ginger, I have it for 2 recipes. So I'm gonna use half of the ginger for the paste and then half of the ginger for the tea. So if you already made the tea, you will only need about an inch, you know, like maybe half an inch of the ginger for the paste. So let's get started. So I'm just gonna use, I have magic bullet, so something like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have a container ready nearby. So whatever I cut, I will just fill it in. This way, you don't need to waste any containers. So I have the shallot right here. So I'm just gonna kind of like cut the shallot into like a bite size. So something like this would be okay. And then I'm just gonna put it into the container. And if you don't have shallot, you can also use red onions as well. So, you know, when you are cooking at home, I feel like sometimes the rules are not always the case, because technically, traditionally, we actually use dry chilies. And then I found that dry chili, sometimes it doesn't give like a nice color. So that's why I use bell peppers instead, because sometimes when we make this dish, traditionally, we do like almost like a long chili plus the dry chili. And I feel like if, you know, I try to make the recipe very simple to make and the taste is still there. So I have the bell peppers right here. What I do is I just cut both ends. And then I'm just gonna cut the bell peppers in half. And then I'm just gonna take out the membranes. I'm just using like a knife to take out the membrane. So you don't need the membranes of the bell peppers. And then you get something like this. So I'm just gonna kind of like chop it into like a bite size, so that this way your blender or food processor doesn't do a lot of work. So you are helping your food processor. So I have something like this, like half of them. I can also like use the end part. So I then put it in here. So this is about the amount. And then after that, you will need 5 cloves of garlic. So I kind of like whatever I have. And then the last ingredients is the ginger. So I know right now like TikTok became like popular, and you probably already know the spoon trick for the ginger, but I have been using this trick. You know, I think it's always great to do like a spoon trick anyway. So if you know this trick already, that's great. If you don't, I found that the spoon is always a great tool to peel the ginger. So this way you don't need to be afraid that you are like some people use the back of the knife, some people use just the knife. And if you use a knife, sometimes it takes out a lot of meat from the ginger. So this way, if you use a spoon, the skin will just peel it off instead of just the meat of the ginger. And you don't need to worry that the back of the knife or the knife will hurt yourself. So I have the ginger something like this. And then what I do is I will just cut it in half. I'm just gonna cut the ginger in kind of like thinly sliced, and this part I'm gonna put it in a blender. So I have the ginger right here. And then now this part, since we already do the knife, so we're just gonna finish up the knife scales. So this way you can, after we are done the knife, you will be able to clean up your cutting board. All right. So I have the ginger that I thinly sliced. This part, I'm just gonna keep it for the tea. So now what we have here, we have the shallot, we have the bell peppers, we have garlic, and we have ginger in the blender container or food processor container. And now we also finish slice the ginger that we are gonna use it for the tea. And the last ingredients is that we are gonna use a knife is I have the lime here. If you don't have a lime, you can use lemon as well. This one is gonna squeeze on top at the end when you serve. Since I already have the knife right here, I'm just gonna kind of like prep it for now so that you don't need to worry about something like that. So I'm just gonna cut it into wedges. So this way we can serve the dish for 2 people. And this recipe is good for 2 people. All right. So that's awesome. Now the next step is we are done with the knives, and then we are just gonna start blending the paste. So I'm gonna add 1/4 of a cup of water into this container. 1/4 of a cup of container.
And I'm just gonna do a quick look out there to see how folks are doing. Any questions from anyone who's cooking along or taking notes to make sure you can cook later? All right, I'm seeing lots of water being measured, things being stirred, so I think we're good to go.
If you add nuts, you can also do like quarter of a cups of like cashew nuts for just the protein part of that. But if you have tofu, you can also skip nut and then add tofu instead. If you have tempeh, you can also use tempeh as well. Or if you use vegetables, you can also just use vegetables. So a lot of the vegetables have high protein. So you can also, use whatever vegetables you like. You just don't tell my grandmom. So I think, yes, just don't tell anyone that I told you that use vegetables in this, because technically, when I'm making curry, a lot of people like, why curry has no vegetables? And I'm like, this is vegetables that we are gonna make a paste. So we are gonna consume this. So this part, I consider this as a vegetable. So I have the all the paste ingredients right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blend it. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mute myself so that you don't need to hear my blender, but we are gonna blend until it's become like puree.
For any of us who learned to cook from an older relative, I think Ploy's comments are pretty funny. We might be able to relate to it. I certainly do. I'm seeing lots of people blending, which is awesome. Others are taking notes as we go along. So just kind of seeing how folks are doing. I don't know, we'll have to ask Ploy. It looks like a NutriBullet to me, but let's see if my guess is correct. Sherry also thinks it's a NutriBullet.
Yes, this is the I'm using Magic Bullet.
Magic Bullet.
Yes. Yeah, it's so yes, NutriBullet, any bullet related, you can also use that as well. I'm not a sponsor, so but technically, yes, do whatever you want. So yes, and the nuts, technically, there is no nuts in this recipe. Someone was asking about adding the nuts in order to increase the protein because they don't use the chicken. So if you don't, like if you eat, like if you do chicken for this dish, you can just follow the recipe, no nuts. You can use macadamia, you can use cashew. It's just, adding the nuts to the paste is just increasing the protein content for people who are not planning to add the chicken. Otherwise, you can just use the chicken as a protein for the dish. And I am using 1/4 of a cup of water. Yes. So yes, you can also use vegetable stock as well. So that's awesome. So technically in here, we have half of the red bell peppers. We have half a cup of chopped shallot, 1 inch of fresh ginger, and 5 cloves of garlic. And then I add 1/4 of a cup of water to just have it get the blender started. Otherwise, it's always difficult to make it blend. And then now once you get this blend, I'm just gonna transfer the blender into a pot. So now I'm just gonna turn on a pot here to high heat. And then I'm just gonna add the paste into here. And then if you see that, that there are a little bit of the residue in the container, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the waters, like maybe 2 tablespoons to just rinse it. And I'm not gonna add this residual water now. So what I do is I add 2 tablespoons of the water, and then I'm just gonna shake everything so that I don't waste all the residue of the paste. And then I'm just gonna keep it for now. And then once the paste start to become bubbling, we just gonna go to the next step. So I always mention that the cooking is like meditation. So while we are waiting for the stovetop to get hot, we meditate. So that's how I consider that. So let's do that. And then once this one is, I'm just gonna wait until the pot is hot before I add the coconut milk and some other ingredients. So while we are waiting, I will just talk about other spices that we are gonna need for the dish. So technically you will need coconut milk. So you need a can of the coconut milk, and then we are just gonna wait a little bit, and then technically I don't use oil at all for this dish. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of the coconut milk in to kind of like have the paste started. But now I'm just waiting for the pan to get hot. So, and then at the end of the day, we are gonna use the whole can of the coconut milk. The next ingredient, you will need paprika. And then you will also need coriander powder. You will also need turmeric powder. You will need cardamom powder and salt. So if you don't have cardamom powder, you can also skip that as well. So paprika is just gonna help for the color. So I have just the regular paprika. If you have sweet paprika, you have smoked paprika, you can also use that as well. It doesn't need to be, you know, any particular type of paprika. I also have turmeric powder, and then I have the coriander powder, and then I have the cardamom powder. So you just have all the spices nearby. And then the next, and then other ingredients that you will need is you will need 1 pound of chicken thigh. So I have this is 1 pound. So for people who live outside the US, it should be about 150 grams of chicken thigh. So this is it. If you don't eat chicken thigh, you can also use chicken breast as well. And then what you will need is you will need soy sauce. So I just have a regular soy sauce, or somehow they also call like light soy sauce. Make sure that you get light soy sauce or regular soy sauce. This recipe, we don't use dark soy sauce because dark soy sauce give like a color and sometimes give the sweetness like a molasses. So make sure that you get light soy sauce that give you like the saltiness. And one of the ingredients that I don't know if most of you have is the palm sugar. So I know that you don't need to use palm sugar. Originally, we use palm sugar. You can also use brown sugar or granulated sugar. So I have this. If you have a chance to buy palm sugar that sell into a smaller like cube like this is 1 tablespoon. So you know a lot of the palm sugar are hard. So if you buy large palm sugar, it's so difficult to like grate it or just cut it. So in the future, if you get a chance to buy palm sugar, make sure you buy a small tiny piece like this. So this way, you know, 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons. But if you have a bigger one, you spend this time grating them to get about 2. For this recipe, we will need 2 tablespoons of the palm sugar. If you are lazy, you can do like 1 tablespoon of grated palm sugar and then 1 tablespoon of the brown sugar. But if you have a smaller palm sugar like I do, you don't need to do anything because I'm just gonna drop it into the curry. So this way, you know, there's no prep work for that. So tamari soy sauce is great as well. It's gluten-free, so you can do that. So now if you see that my curry, my paste is like bubbling now. So once it's bubbling, I'm just gonna add in like 1 quarter of a can of the coconut milk in to just have it. And this is like very forgiving recipe that, you know, if you make curry paste before in the past, and a lot of the curry paste handle always ask you to stir like kind of like saute the paste until it become dry, it become dark, things like that. So technically for this recipe, you don't need to wait until it's dry out or get darker. So it's gonna blend very well. And then once everything is in, you are gonna have a very nice curry. So technically this curry particularly is very forgiving. So yes, you can also use coconut aminos as well instead of the soy sauce for anyone who doesn't like to have soy in the diet. So now we have the paste in the pot, and once the paste is bubbling, you are adding like I'm adding just quarter of a can of the coconut milk. Now I am gonna add half a tablespoon of paprika. Half a tablespoon of paprika.
And Ploy, quick question.
Yeah.
One, can we see the palm sugar jar again? That looked super cool. If people wanted to check it out. And
Yes.
then clarification, are you using coconut milk or coconut cream?
Milk.
Milk.
So if you only have coconut cream, so this is the milk that I have. It's coconut milk, but I was just like use a spoon to stir to that. So it's kind of like mix it up well. And just so you know, this brand that I'm using has the less water content. It's still coconut milk, but if you have coconut cream that is like it's wrote on the container that coconut cream, you probably will need only half a can, and then you need to add the water because otherwise your curry will get very thick. All right, so now I add half a tablespoon of paprika, and then this is the container. So just so you know, you don't need to buy this brand at all. There are tons of brands. What you're looking for is the size of the palm sugar. That's it. Just look for the size of the palm sugar, and it's always in the container in the glass like this. It can be shorter, it can be taller, it depends on the size, but technically the brand doesn't matter because you know, as you probably know, they probably came from the same place anyway. So all right, so now we have the half a tablespoon of paprika, and then I'm gonna add half a tablespoon of coriander powder.
I love the smell of coriander. It's such a unique spice.
Yes. And I know that a lot of people who live outside the US call cilantro as coriander. So technically, for some of you who don't know, coriander seeds actually grow into cilantro. So it's like a fun fact, and American people just change the coriander leaves name into the word cilantro. So technically it's the same thing. And then now after you add half a tablespoon of the coriander powder, we are gonna add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Half a teaspoon of turmeric powder.
And if some people have cardamom seeds, can they crush them? I feel like yes, to create.
Yes, you can
powder.
also crush it a little bit, or you can also add the seeds in. And you know, if you get a bite, it's kind of like nice to get like a bite into that, so it doesn't hurt. A lot of Indian cuisine use the whole seeds, so you are welcome to add that as well in case that you are also like, you know, doesn't want to crush it. And then the last ingredient is cardamom powder, so I'm adding like quarter of a teaspoon in. I'm just gonna kind of like sprinkle it so that I don't need to measure.
Boy, we all really love your spoon. It's really your spatula. It's great.
Oh, thank you. You know, this is very funny. I actually got this from Secret Santa when I was working in my previous company, and I actually don't know who gave it to me. So technically it was a Secret Santa gift. So now I just add in, oh, I forgot to add the salt. I already add the whole can of the coconut milk already. So we need to add 1 teaspoon of salt into the curry as well. So I have 1 teaspoon. So technically now what I do is I have half a tablespoon of paprika in, half a tablespoon of coriander powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, quarter of a teaspoon of cardamom powder, and then 1 teaspoon of salt. And now I will just add in the whole coconut milk. And then now I am adding in the chicken. So technically this step is very easy. So we just add everything in, and then we're just gonna let it cook until the chicken is completely cooked. So now I add the chicken in. And And then after you add the chicken, you are gonna add the soy sauce. So if you have coconut aminos or tamari, you are welcome to do that. So we are gonna add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And then after you add the soy sauce, you are gonna add 2 tablespoons of palm sugar. Or if you don't have palm sugar, you will be using the brown sugar instead. So I just add in I have in a tablespoon, so 2 of them.
And Ploy, if folks are doing tofu, this is when they add it, or should they wait?
You can add it now, because if you have tofu, is it like a fried tofu or you have the firm tofu? So if you have fried tofu, you can add it now. If your tofu is like firm white tofu, you can wait, because we are gonna like let it stir a little bit. Like we are gonna keep stirring like at the end. So if you add the tofu right now, you can mush the tofu. So if you have tofu, fried tofu now, if you have firm tofu, you are waiting.
Okay, looks like Dina, let us know if you want to unmute. But we don't know. So
Yeah, I fried it.
Okay.
I fried
it?
I did. I looked up how to fry, because I didn't buy fried tofu. So I actually fried it. Here's a picture. It's pretty good. It's like nice and crispy.
That
I just
looks
put it in
awesome.
Yeah, I just did a cast iron skillet with oil. It was really easy.
Okay, that's awesome. Yes, so technically, if you go to an Asian market, they have like tons of tofu that you can pick, and I found that they cost the same. So if you get like fried tofu, you get the like firm tofu, soft tofu, they cost the same. So I always tell my students that you don't pay something that you need to work extra at home. So technically, if you want fried tofu, you pay the same price. You need soft tofu, you just pay the same price. So so technically you just get whatever you need, so that you don't need to do some extra work.
Yeah, I should have bought fried tofu. We do have an amazing local tofu producer, so I just didn't even think to look for fried. But next time.
No worries at all. So this is awesome. All right, so we have so the thing that we haven't added into the pot right now is actually the water. So now this is how my pot looks like. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 2 cups of water. So I'm getting 2 cups of water. And then after we get these 2 cups of water, what we are gonna do is we are just gonna let this bring to a boil, and then you can cover with a lid and then let it simmer for not simmer, you can let it cook on medium low heat. I said simmer in the recipe, but medium low heat. And then we're just gonna let this cook until the chicken is completely cooked. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go over one more time what we add into this pot. And then if you haven't added anything, you can just catch up. So here we have the paste that we made, and then I add 1/4 can of the coconut milk, and then we just gonna add in 1/2 tablespoon of paprika, 1/2 tablespoon of coriander powder, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom powder, 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we can add the chicken. We add the 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then 2 tablespoons of palm sugar. And then we add the rest of the coconut milk, and then 2 cups of water. And then we're just gonna let it cook until it becomes the chicken is completely cooked. So I think we are losing Julia somehow. So anyways, Julia is still here.
I'm here. Yeah. Sorry. What's up?
Oh no, I thought that it's just quiet and you disappear. So no,
Oh,
never
no.
mind.
I'm here. I'm monitoring the chat. People are writing to me directly, so I'm trying to keep track of everything. But a question from Michelle. She would love to see your soy sauce bottle again. Is that possible?
Oh, so okay, so technically my soy sauce, I bought the Kikuman, the big gallon. So technically you can get a very good price from like Costco or BJ. So that's why my Kikuman is large. So it wouldn't fit for my like usage. So I just buy like a squeeze bottle and then just transfer like a big like Kikuman into here, and then I keep the big gallon in the fridge, and then this one I keep it in the fridge as well. But when I use it, this one, like the squeeze bottle here, is a little bit smaller, so when I add into something, I don't need to like pour the whole gallon into my food. So this is like a little trick. So like if you want to do that as well, you are welcome to, but technically you can use whatever soy sauce you have. Yeah, it's Japanese. You can also use Korean as well. I have a lot of like soy sauce at home. I also use Thai soy sauce as well. So all the soy sauce have wheat to ferment. So if you have gluten intolerance, you need to buy tamari instead, or coconut aminos. Coconut aminos is made from coconut sap that they like add salt and ferment into like a soy sauce flavor, but has no soy. So for anyone who doesn't like to have soy in the diet, coconut aminos is a good substitute, and it's also gluten-free.
And
Yeah,
Ploy,
that's
just
right.
to clarify, we've got some great experts on soy sauce chiming in here. I love all this in the chat. So really quickly, someone is still grinding up some cardamom pods. It's okay to do these, like the ground is the same, right? It's the same
Yes.
teaspoon, etc. Okay, cool. And then Dina said, do we add, I think we did add the coconut milk, or
Yes,
was
we
only,
did add the coconut milk,
yes,
Is it the whole can or half
the
can?
whole can. So we
Okay,
use up.
that's what I thought you said.
Yes, because I don't like to have leftover, so you don't know what you are gonna use for. So when I do the recipe for any curry type, I always use up the whole can, and then I just adjust the proportion to make it work. Because otherwise you won't be able to use like, what are you gonna do like for 2 tablespoons left or half a cup left? So it's always great to just use up the whole can.
cool. I think we're good on the questions.
Yep.
Let's keep
Awesome. All right. Great. So while we are waiting for the curry to cook, I'm just gonna cover the curry with a lid a little bit so that it won't splash when it starts to cook a little bit more. So I still have it on, and then I'm just gonna close it. All right, here we go. So I have the lid on, and then make sure that the heat is like medium low heat, so that this way it won't it won't like overflowing. So I'm just gonna move this to like another like back pot, back stove, so that I'm gonna free up this area for the next step. So if you want to do, like, I'm sure everyone has more than one stove, so here we go. All right, so while we are trying to let everyone to catch up, so I'm just gonna explain about the dish, that why I did this dish. So technically, as like we mentioned earlier, that this dish is only available in the northern part of Thailand. So if if you have been to Thailand before, usually you fly to Bangkok. So if you go to Bangkok, you are not likely to see this dish. So this dish mainly sold in Chiang Mai. So it's the northern part of Thailand. This dish actually got influence from a lot of like the neighboring countries. So if you go to Myanmar, you probably see some dishes that very similar to this dish. So this dish is very you know, like it's like a curry base, and then we serve with the egg noodles. If you don't have egg noodles, you can use pasta. If you have, you know, like gluten intolerance, you can also use rice noodles as well. Just don't tell my grandma again. So, and if you, you know, you don't want egg into the dish, you can also use like semolina pasta as well, so that, you know, whatever noodles that you can think of, I think it actually like served perfect for this dish. And I am using chicken. As I mentioned, you can use tofu, you can use vegetables. If you are adding vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, you know, anything into the dish, this is a great time to add it into the curry so that it gets cooked. Would you like it to be spicy? What can you add? You can add Thai chili. You just chop it up. You can also add cayenne pepper as well. So I would recommend you to add it at the end, because right now you cannot taste the curry. If you add it right now, you might not know how much spicy it is. So as you probably cook, you know that you cannot take out the spiciness. So it's always great to add it along the way. So River Kwai Bridge, is that in there? I see. All right.
People are really getting chatty in the in the chat. So
that's awesome. All right. So how's everyone is doing? Are you catching up? Is your curry on stove top for cooking now? Please give me a thumb up if you are ready to go to the next step.
wow, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up.
You can also, for anyone who doesn't turn on the camera, you can also give a virtual thumb too. Awesome, I saw that. Great. One thing that I was joking about the Zoom is they don't let any thumb down. So there is no thumb down symbol. So you cannot give me a thumb down. So you can only give me a thumb up. So, all right, so I think we are ready to go to the next step. So we are gonna make the tea. How many cardamom pods to use? I would say you can just use one. It's already plenty to use one, because the powder is only 1/4 of a teaspoon. It's just a tiny. So okay, we are gonna make the tea. So what you will need is, I am gonna add in the I'm just gonna show you my pot. So I am having just a small pot right here, and this tea is only about like 1 serving. So if you are planning to make more, you can add more water, and you don't need to add more ginger. So like you can just do like 3 cups of water instead of 1.5 cups. So what I do is I will just add in the sliced ginger that I have. And then you will also need cinnamon stick. So I have the cinnamon stick right here. So you can just add in about 1. So I am using cassia cinnamon. So the cassia cinnamon is the cinnamon that you usually find in the US. It actually came from the cassia tree. If you are doing like a true cinnamon, they call like Ceylon cinnamon. So technically Ceylon cinnamon is like give you like a citrus flavor, but the cassia cinnamon is a cinnamon that you get like an apple, you know, like an apple pie flavor, pumpkin spice flavor type of thing. So I am using just a regular cinnamon. You will need 1.5 cup. I'm filling my water. I'm adding 1.5 cup of water, and then we're just gonna let the tea cook. Like let it bring to a boil. And then once it's bring to a boil, it's gonna, you know, like give you like a little bit of like a darker color. And then if you want to add any honey or sugar to taste, you are welcome to. So yep. The wooden box. All right. Okay. Sorry, which type of cinnamon? So technically the cinnamon that you get from the US, from any grocery store, is the cassia cinnamon. It's like, let me type it in the chat. It's like CASSIA, cassia. It's cassia cinnamon. And the true cinnamon. Let me show you. I actually have both at home. Cinnamon. So cassia cinnamon, usually true cinnamon is Ceylon cinnamon. So Ceylon cinnamon is grown in Sri Lanka, and then cassia cinnamon usually grown in Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. So technically, I will show you my box again. So this is the cinnamon. I will show you the one that looks very obvious. So this is cassia cinnamon. It's a cinnamon that you actually get it from a grocery store. And then this is like a Ceylon cinnamon. So technically Ceylon cinnamon is very thin and it has layers inside. And if you see the colors is different. So cassia cinnamon is usually darker and Ceylon cinnamon is usually lighter. And the cassia cinnamon gives you like sweet color, sweet taste, and Ceylon cinnamon gives you like a citrusy taste. So it just depends on how people use it. A lot of American recipes like apple pie, any baking recipes, they add, because usually Ceylon cinnamon usually don't get imported to the US much. It went to like Latin American country, but we get this. So when you actually get this Ceylon cinnamon, you might not feel familiar with the cinnamon. So there are two types, and usually this one is a little bit harder, but I bought the one that thin, so it's easier to crack. But technically Ceylon cinnamon should be able to crack it very easily. It's like crackable. It's because it's so it's now break it into like small pieces. It's into like a thin bark. But if you get like a cassia cinnamon, the stick will be very hard. You wouldn't be able to break the bark at all. So like, yeah. And let me go through the chat. Oh yes, actually it's the dabba. This is the Indian box. So I like I think if you follow my Instagram, you will know like I have been like making a lot of Indian curries at home. So I have this box. I think one thing that I can like show you is this is like the corn, peppercorns. I have the cardamom pods. And then this one is maize. Maize is actually the outer layer of nutmeg. So if you have used nutmeg before, you will know like nutmeg has layers. So this is maize. And then I have star anise, I have coriander seeds, I have bay leaves, and then I have cloves right here. One thing that I want to show you real quick is I have two kinds of cardamom. This is not related to this class, but since we are waiting for the water to get boiled, I'll just give you like tips about the spices. So this is the green cardamom. This is the black cardamom. When people talk about black cardamom, it's this black cardamom. And you see it's a different size. And this black cardamom gives you a smoky flavor. This one, the green cardamom here inside give you like a cardamom seed. So if you see like cardamom like seed or cardamom pod, it's actually this green cardamom. So I open it up. So this is the inside here is a cardamom seed. Inside we don't call black cardamom because people will get confused with this black cardamom. So it's a totally different thing, but technically it's the same, almost like a cousin. So, yep.
I feel like we just like really entered your kitchen. That was such a cool demo. Thank you so much for showing us.
Thank you. All right, so my tea now has been boiling. So now I'm just gonna reduce the heat to low so that let it simmer, and then let it infuse all the flavor from the ginger and also from the cinnamon. While we are waiting for this to get simmer, I would like you to have a pot. So I have a pot right here that I am gonna fill with water, and then I'm just gonna use this pot to cook noodles. So if you are gonna eat it right away, please do this step. I'm just trying to fill the pot.
No problem. I'm taking a quick look on gallery view. People look like they're doing well. So hopefully any questions, definitely unmute and let us know.
All right, here we go. So right now, my water is on stove, and then we're just gonna bring it to a boil. So I use black cardamom for something like, you know, that you want smoky flavor. Because I have so much black cardamoms at home, I tend to add in almost all the Indian curry dish. So I like to have like a smoky flavor. So if you are doing like steak or anything that you like to have like smoky flavor, you can also add black cardamom into the sauce. Or any dish that you serve with bacon, it also goes well, very well. So anything good. All right. So awesome. So I see the question, what type of cinnamon is more fragrant for the fruit cake? So any cake, any, you know, bakeries, I would suggest to have the regular cinnamon, the one that you get in the US, the cassia cinnamon, because it gives you like a sweeter taste. If you use Ceylon cinnamon, the flavor will be disappear. So technically Ceylon cinnamon is great to serve it like on top, like if you want to zest. So technically you actually zest the cinnamon to grate it on top. So you get like a citrusy on top of whatever you want to serve. If you have like any like small cake that you want to like grate the cinnamon on top, you can also use cassia cinnamon as well. It's not as citrusy as lemon zest or lime zest. It's not give you like a sour or tart flavor. So it just give you like a scent. So yep, that's it. Yep. All right. So the wooden box I actually got it in the US. So I bought it online. So you can search for like, you know, that bar or like a spice box. You can search online, or, you know, like there are so many versions of that. Yep. All right. Awesome. Okay. Yes, you can use black too. Like, yes, if you want like a smoky flavor, you can use black. Awesome. Yes. All right. So now I'm just gonna switch to the camera so that so I'm just gonna serve this tea. I personally don't add sugar in my tea. I like to get like a true flavor. So if you want some sweetness, please feel free to add honey or granulated sugar or brown sugar, and then it will help you to get like a nicer taste. And that would be great. So I'm just gonna serve it. And then you just I just serve it into a cup. And then you please feel free to enjoy the tea. It will give you like a nice, you know, like if you live in the northern hemisphere, this is gonna be the great time to drink warm tea. If you are in Australia, I'm sorry for this. So at least it's still a good time. I think we can drink warm tea wherever we like. So all right, so I'm just gonna I know, like to shorten my time, I kind of like heat and then have this water like bring to a boil on the back stove, and now I have like a water that is a little bit hot, and then yes, you can also do that. I always, I think like since the pandemic started, I have been like drinking a lot of ginger tea a lot. So I didn't add cardamom. You are welcome to add cardamom in the tea. You can add whatever spices in the tea. I sometimes add star anise. Sometimes I add cardamom pod. That's a great way to add. Sometimes I also add lemongrass. Sometimes I add anything. It's good for you anyway. So it has no tea leaves in there, so you can drink it at night. It doesn't really it's always great to drink like herbal tea. So now what we are gonna do is once the water brings to a boil, you are gonna cook the noodles. I am the person who don't add the salt into the water because sometimes I found that the residual water is give like too salty flavor into the dish. So I usually don't add any salt into the water. And then I'm just gonna cook the noodles. My noodles technically is a fresh noodles, and then I freeze them. So it's gonna take only 1 minute for me to cook the noodles. If you are using pasta, please cook according to the packaging. If you are using fresh noodles, it will take like 1 to 2 minutes. It depends on the thickness. So technically, you will know your noodles better than I do because it depends on what brand, what size, what you have. So this is my noodles. So what I do is I always buy like, fresh egg noodles, and I never use up. So I kind of like portion them and save them in a Ziploc bag. And this way it's like when I cook, I just take it out completely frozen right from the freezer. When you froze the noodles like this, or even fresh pasta, you never thaw them. Otherwise it will get mushy and it will get into like a one big lump. So what I do is this one is a frozen egg noodles. I would just put it in the boiling water right away. And then after that, once it starts to get cooked for like 20 seconds, I am just gonna use chopstick. You can use a fork to kind of like split them in the water. So this way your noodles will never get soggy. It will never like clump together. So if you are making the pasta from scratch, fresh pasta or anything, you can also freeze them as well. And then when you need them, you just take them from the freezer and then come right into the boiling water. This way you don't need to, like do anything to work on that. It's like a good way to cook noodles. Also, you can buy fresh egg noodles in any Asian market. If you cannot find, I have never seen like egg, like fresh noodles at all at the regular grocery store. That's why you can buy fresh pasta. Fresh pasta is always perfect for this version as well. So yes, and then what I am gonna do is I am gonna have a bowl, like a serving bowl ready, so that once the noodles ready, I'm just gonna transfer it into the bowl. I'm reducing this heat a little bit, and then I'm just gonna talk about the toppings that we are gonna use. So you don't really need to have exactly the same topping, but the key is you need to have lamb. So the lamb is gonna help enhance the flavor of the dish. So this way, okay, my noodles are done. I'm just gonna turn off the heat. So this way I don't have overflowed. All right. All right, I'm gonna get a bowl. All right, I have a serving dish right here, and then I'm just gonna take out the noodles and then just serve it into here. And then I am gonna check my chicken. How's the chicken is doing? I'm just bring the chicken back, the curry.
Ploy, is that boiling? Like, is it on high heat or medium?
No, it's on like low heat, but it's boiling, but that's totally okay because this one has a lot more water. So technically the coconut is not gonna break. So we add 2 cups of water in here. So it's almost like a soup rather than like, you know, like coconut is not gonna break on this. I don't have the brand of the noodles. So technically it's the fresh egg noodles is always like a local brand. So it depends on where you are and how the local vendors produce. So I definitely don't have the brand for that. And sometimes they have, sometimes they don't. So you don't need to like, you know, stick with the fresh noodles. So you can also, as I mentioned, fresh pasta, because technically pasta and noodles are almost like the same thing. So it's just, you know, like we call it differently. Yep, so awesome. How's everyone is doing? Are you getting like nice smell in the kitchen? How you are doing? Great. All right, so I'm just gonna talk about the toppings. So for the toppings, I have a little bit of like the sliced shallot. So if you don't like to have raw shallot, you can definitely skip that. I have the 2 wedges of lamb, so it's gonna be 1 per serving. And then I have this weird thing. So if you don't have it, don't feel bad. This is a pickle mustard green. It's actually mustard green that they pickle. So this is like a container they call pickle mustard green. It comes into like a bag like this. It looks very weird. If you can think of like the mustard green, it's very similar to like kimchi, but no spice, like no chili, but it's like a pickle like that. So if you don't have it, you can completely skip that. It will give like an extra layers of flavor. It will give a little bit of the sours, but technically we already have lime juice. So if you don't have mustard green, you can completely skip the ingredient, no substitute for that. I just chop it into like a bite size, like a smaller pieces, and then I have it on the side so that we can serve it on top. If you like some spicy, this is a good time to add some spiciness. When we serve in Thailand, we don't add a lot too spicy in the curry because the curry can be consumed by a kid as well, like children can take this. So that's why if you see the recipe packet, I have the condiments as like crushed red pepper flakes, so we can add it on top for anyone who like to serve that. So technically that will be 4 main ingredients to serve on top. You have like a wedge of lime juice, a wedge of lime, you have sliced shallot, you have pickle mustard green, and a little bit of the crushed red pepper flakes. And if you don't mind cilantro, it's gonna be a little bit of the chopped cilantro. So awesome. Oh my gosh, you get mustard green at Walmart in Canada. That's awesome. It made in Thailand. Okay, that's even better. All right. So yes, if you couldn't find mustard green, you can completely skip. Pickle cucumbers. Yeah, you can also do that as well. So it doesn't give you any like horrible flavor because the flavor is the same. Pickle flavor is the same. So you can also try that. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna check my curry one more time. So now like the chicken is completely cooked. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna taste it. once I test it, you can adjust the flavor. I'm good with this. I know that some people might like to add a little bit more soy sauce in there if you like a little bit more salty. If you like, you can add more salt, or you can add more soy sauce if you like. I like the way it tastes. So it depends on your preference. So I think mine is good. I'm just gonna, I actually forgot to add the leftover juice in here. I think it's too late for me now. So if you end up adding them in, thank you for that. I forgot. I'm just gonna, so I have the noodles right here. I'm just gonna serve the curry on into this.
I love that ladle. Looks very nice.
Oh, thank you. All right, and then once we have this, we are just gonna add the rest of the condiments. So I am gonna add the mustard green. And then I'm just gonna have a wedge of lamb. If you want to for photo, you have to like do this the way that I do. If you don't want photo, you can squeeze the lamb on top right now. And then I am gonna add a little bit of the red pepper flakes in here. If you don't have red pepper flakes, you can use a little bit of the cayenne peppers. And then the last ingredient is the cilantro. So for some people who don't like cilantro, you can get away with the parsley. So parsley works perfectly with this one. All right. So we got this delicious noodles, Thai curry with noodles. We call Khao soy in Thai. So how's everyone is doing?
Wow, looks amazing, Ploy. Someone's wondering if there's extra like sauce. Can you freeze it? Like what? Or maybe you just have it for leftovers.
Yes, you can freeze it. Before you freeze, you have to let it cool completely, and then you can put it in a container and freeze it. And whenever you need, oh, that looks great, Michael.
Yeah, Michael looks amazing.
That's awesome. Yes, you can freeze the liquid, and then whenever you are ready to eat next time, you can just take it out from the freezer and then bring it on to the stove top, add more meat in there. You can also do that.
Jessica, yours is looking good. Can you give us a close-up?
Oh, that's awesome, Jessica. Oh, that looks great.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. We should do like a competition, like a test, like a contest.
Yeah, and for those who are watching the recording, I don't think the spotlighting works, but you'll have to check out our Instagram because I'm snapping some pictures. I'm curious if anyone else wants to show off how their dish has turned out.
That's awesome.
Let's see, Dina, are you showing us a view? Oh, wow, look at that.
That's awesome. That's great. Awesome.
Very cool. Thank you. Any questions? I skipped a few questions because I know folks wanted to keep on schedule as we were going, but I'm going to quickly scroll back. And Susie, I think this is hilarious about baked beans are a gourmet. That's amazing in Hawaii. I hope you're doing okay with the flooding, by the way. I've been watching that on the news, so hope things are okay. Let's see. Jess and Tate asked about, couldn't find pickled mustard greens, but found pickled cucumbers. Did we cover that? I can't remember.
Yes, we answered that. You can use that to just serve it on top. It's the same flavor. That's
Okay,
awesome.
cool. Oh, you know what? There were some questions about your tea. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to scroll up.
You can use lemongrass. It's the same way. You just add extra ingredients into the tea. In addition to the ginger.
Nice.
Is that the same question that we?
I don't, I can't find it. It's so hard to scroll up and then get new things come in. So whoever asked the question about tea, you feel free, if we didn't address it, to please ask.
Awesome.
We have so many Hawaii folks. This is amazing. And I'm glad.
Yes, Hawaii folks, and where else? Minneapolis.
Yes.
Awesome. Does anyone else from Massachusetts? I know like we have a few folks.
Let's see. We've got former Massachusetts on the line with Esta. Miami.
Awesome.
Here.
Great.
Yeah, let us know. San Diego. Love it.
Yes.
Any more questions for Ploy? Well, everybody, please do send us pictures, and I'm going to put Ploy's Instagram in the chat so you can tag her and tag us on what you created. So this is Tradition Kitchens, and then let me put Ploy's Kitchen. We're all about the kitchens here.
Yes, we love the kitchens. We love the food.
Definitely. Ploy, Richard's showing us. Oh, wow. Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
Come back to the camera. I need to take a photo of that one. It's a little blurry. You'll have to tag us in the original, but look at the colors.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love the bowl too. That looks awesome. It's nice contrast.
Anything you want to share? Just grateful. Got the tea there. All right. If you want to unmute, feel free. Otherwise, I'll remove the spotlight. Okay, I'm putting it back on gallery. Anyone else want to show us how it went? Okay. Well, we look forward to future cooking. There's a request about tamarind. Ploy, do you know how to cook with tamarind? I know it's like an important ingredient in pad thai, right?
Yes, it's the main ingredients in one of the main ingredients in pad thai, and you can use tamarind for drink. So you can actually use the same recipe that we have here today: 1.5 cups of water and tamarind, either tamarind concentrated or tamarind paste. And then you just keep it boiling until you get the color has been changed, and then you add some sugar and then you drink. If you drink a little bit, it's good for a refreshing drink. If you drink a lot, it will be good for your your how to say like a digestion. So don't drink a lot because you will poop a lot. That's awesome.
Hard to follow that one. Good advice from Ploy on keeping your digestive system healthy. I'm plugging in some of our future classes in the chat. But before I transition, Ploy, anything else you want to say? Any words of wisdom for your students who are big fans?
Keep cooking and come back, check out Ploy's Kitchen, and then I hope to see you again in the future. I hope you enjoy the class, and then if you don't learn something, you will have curry to eat today and drink tea.
Well, thank you so much. It's so wonderful to learn from you. You are such a talented teacher, and I hope everyone takes one of your classes. Ploy has generously, donated her time to Tradition Kitchens, as everyone does when they come and join us, but she does run classes and does it as part of her business. So I hope everyone will support her. We are big fans of supporting small businesses and nonprofits that are really in need, especially during this time. So thank you, Ploy. Let's give her a round of applause, show some heart emojis, some thumbs up, some party horns, like use your favorite. I love it. Anyone wants to unmute and show your enthusiasm? I'm seeing a sea of bright red hearts and applause. It's awesome. So thank you, Ploy. I know you are loved and appreciated by all of us. You know, it's so wonderful. We've never met in person. I haven't met many of our teachers in person, although some I have, but it feels like we get to know each other, and that's the beauty of these classes. So thank you.
Thank you.
We have yay! We have 2 classes left in 2021. On Monday, we are doing a sustainable seafood stew with Andy and the Agricultural Institute of Marin. And we're really excited to learn from him, learn about farmers markets. It's one of our Cooking for a Cause classes. So once a month, we've been officially picking a cause associated with a chef and encouraging people to donate if they're able to through our Facebook fundraisers so we can celebrate giving. We've already reached our goal of $250 for that class. If anybody wants to contribute, please, we encourage you to, or if you don't feel connected to that cause, find one that's similar, farmers market, local to your community, and give and let us know. We'll calculate it as part of our total giving. And I wanted to say thank you to so many of you on this call who have been really generous and donated to support the causes over the last 2.5 years that we've supported. So thank you. Again, we're all volunteer led. So if anyone is super inspired to teach with us in 2022, cooking with tradition, I almost blanked, at gmail.com. Let us know. We'd love to have you. We're booking up for January, so we may get some Malaysian food, hint, hint, from one of the attendees. Oh my gosh, and I forgot to mention, we just announced our last class last night, and that is with one of Ploy's amazing connections, and that's with Na. It's going to be a Vietnamese greens soup and caramelized shrimp with quail eggs. Substitutes available if you are vegetarian or don't have quail eggs. And she's cooking live from her home in the green vegetable village of Vietnam. And we're really excited to get a tour. So with that, I'll wrap us up and just say thank you to everyone. Please tag us in your pictures. Can't wait to see how things turned out. And any final thoughts or questions from anyone on the call tonight? It was great to be with all of you this evening, this morning.
Remind me to cook. I don't know. I want to do it.
Okay,
It has to be a lesser known culture.
Okay, I'm going to mute. It sounds like we're getting some feedback. Maybe you were trying to share something with us. I didn't know, but I muted you, so feel free to let us know. And that's it. Yeah, Michael, it would be really fun. I know everybody has a different level of comfort with connecting so in person these days. So stay tuned for maybe 2022 re-emerging in person. Wouldn't that be fun? We'll see. Let's pray and hope for that. All right, wishing you a great rest of your day, evening, afternoon. Take care, everyone. I'm going to stop recording. And if anyone has any off the record questions for Ploy, stick around for a minute or two.
Thank you all for coming. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your meal.
Oh, thank you so much.